All right, so this is going to be a talk like no other, because I'm going to be harsh and I'm going to tell you guys what I really think. And I'm going to show you guys what it really looks like. Of course, these views do not represent my employer. You know, you have to have one of those. And yes, I live in Sweden, but I worked in Denmark for the last 10, 15 years or something like that. So jeg snakker så lige dansk. Det er lidt skidt, men I think we can get by. I named this The Way of the Keyboard because this is how I got started. How I got damaged and dragged into IT security, and some war stories that I've experienced over the years that has been a paradigm shift for me. And I hope with these stories you can actually shift your reality as well when it comes to IT security. This is what I look like if I go to the barber. I'm Lucas, as stated. I'm from Sweden. I've been breaking stuff badly for 22 years now. Started at a very young age with the Amiga 500. I have a dog, like everybody else during COVID. 3 kids. And I live in Sweden, so I usually, when I come to Denmark, I take the car, because Swedish trains can't be trusted. Yeah, that's just a little bit. We're going to go more into detail as well. So you guys are mainly developers, and why should I talk to you? Because you do development, of course. You might need a change of career. You might be interested in earning some extra cash. There is a possibility for that as well, of course. And I need to get you to understand some harsh truths that are out there. And I think this cartoon drawing sums it up. I don't know if you've seen it before, where it says, what's in there? My personal assessment of your firm's security. Have a look. It's a rough. I didn't hold back. And it says it's shit. Again, does not represent my employer in any way. So I started back in 1992, and with the Amiga 500, of course. And my main goal there wasn't security, it was playing video games like every other kid. Now, I had some asshole friends. And by asshole friends, I mean, we traded games like everybody did during the 80s and 90s. And what they would do is, like, if I have 7 discs, they would not copy disk number 5. So when I come home and I play the game, we traded a game for a game and started playing and insert disk 5. I slap in disk 5 and it says, sorry, doesn't work. So I call up my friends and say, hey, disk 5 seems corrupt. Can I get a new one? And they go, if I get a new game from you. What? Yeah, I need another game as well in order to recopy disk 5. And that got me furious. I mean, what kind of buddy are you? Okay, I'll retaliate. So I had an antivirus for Amiga 500. The good thing about this antivirus, it doesn't just have a small signature, it has the entire virus. So what I did is, hooray, reversed it, activated it on one of the disks. In this case, it was the time bomb virus for Amiga, so I could set a specific time. So from first inserting the disk to 5 minutes later, and then it will crash, and then it will display a guru meditation, a red bar on top with my message. Next time we traded, it happened. Disk 7 didn't work, but I infected disk 1, but it didn't know. So I just sat there waiting for the phone to ring, and lo and behold, he ringed. Hey, my Amiga 500 says I should call you. It says, yeah, my disk 5 is corrupt, and so is your disk 1 now. And he went, yeah, we could definitely recopy. That's no problem. That's no problem. Okay, super. So that's how I got thrown into security in a way. Started cracking some games as well, breaking those manual codes that you need to enter, page 5, line 6, word 4. So, and how to skip those, because it became so annoying. It wasn't much for spreading it. It became so annoying for me that I had to go and find the manual somewhere, page 5, and it didn't tell me if I entered the wrong thing until like 5 minutes in the game when it said, bye-bye. I have some other stuff that is coming that I will cover as well. But that's how I got thrown into it. Today, I work for a company called Banshee. Again, does not represent the views that I have on things. But we do pen testing, red team stuff, and everything that has to do with security. Pretty fun firm. It's Danish-based. Some of you may know the guys that actually founded it. So it's Dennis and Thomas. So the reason I'm talking to you guys today, because you're a little bit older, a little bit more mature, maybe. But I talked a little bit about how my fire started, and basically it's just a matter of defiance as a kid. And maybe you have what it takes as well. I don't know, maybe you find a way to break and enter into a system and find it exciting. Looking at someone else's code maybe and saying, hey, that looks like junk, I can do better. That is part of the evil bit as well. I can do better. I know this is crap, this looks bad. And if you ever thought like that, you might have what is called the evil bit. You might use it for good though and say like, yeah, maybe your code wasn't that optimized. You could have done this instead. That's the proactive approach now that you're older. Mine was more like middle finger up back in the day. Things started to turn around. I thought to myself, what if someone did this to my old grandma? What if someone was hoaxing her and doing these things to people I love and care about dearly? No, there has to be something you can do. And for me, it was actually helping others. Back then, we had no firewalls. We had, nobody knew what hacking was more than, yeah, hackers broke in. That's about it. Security didn't exist. But I started helping companies out pro bono, like pro hosting, and fixing vulnerabilities and making sure that they were up to par. Started building my own hardware firewall back then when they first released the firewall protocol, basically, to filter TCP IP traffic. It was fun. It was really fun. I started to turn things around and actually got a job in IT security. And by the way, I got a F in computing, which is F is you suck. You don't know shit about computers. Because again, rebellious nature me, as a kid, tried to tell the teacher that maybe you shouldn't use a 255.0.0.0 net mask on an NT environment because they take 10 minutes to boot up. So I changed it to 255.255.255.0, which is supposed to be like the standard net mask for a Class C network. And lo and behold, computers booted in seconds. And he said, no, that's not right. Change it. So he changed it back, of course. And I got told off, don't mess with our machines. Right? Cool. And then we're going to build our own computers from scratch, with motherboard. And I was like, I'm going to go the extra mile. He should know that I know computers. So what I did was make the basic computer like you should. Motherboard, CPU, and, everything, cooling. But I took out the BIOS, went home, and I flashed Linux on it. Now it's going to boot in 3 seconds, and it's controlled by Linux kernel. Ha! Super. And I showed him, look at this. On. And we're in. No BIOS. And he goes, yeah, that's not what I asked you to do. You failed. And I said, why? And said, yeah, if you don't like it, you can quit. Okay, I quit. I quit school. I said, give me the papers, I'll sign it right here, right now. And he said, yeah, I'm going to call you a bluff. He put the papers like here, it says that you quit school. Just sign here. And I go, sure, I'll sign. Signed it. He's like, yeah, good luck finding a job. Thank you. He was a real a-hole. I went home to my grandma and I said, I'm sorry. What did you do? I quit school. Good for you. They didn't understand you anyway. It's like, oh, okay, I thought you were going to be mad. No. You can go home, stay home, and be by the computer and learn your stuff there. You're way better than them. Thank you. Wow. That's nice. Nice of her. So, 2 days later, I got a job, by the way, doing IT security. So I went back to school to get my last free meal. And I see the teacher sitting in the teacher's lounge over there. So I go there, and I sit down next to him, and he says to me, "Sir, are you here to start the individual program?" Side note, individual program for people that are not smart enough or deemed less or have bad grades that need to go this special class in order to raise their grades. And I said to him, nothing. Open my wallet and take my business card and say, call me when you make as much money as I do. And then I left. And the whole place just lit up because everybody knew I quit. Again, with the rebellious nature. And I'm not educated. When I speak in Stockholm and replacing the professors at the Royal Institute of Technology and stuff like that, they ask me, so where did you get your education? And I say, I didn't. You didn't go any courses, classes? Were you in the States? No, I was not in the States. But how did you learn that, all this? Home, alone, by the computer, and not listening to what's written in a book. Got a little bit older, still doing hacking. Hacking was my main thing. That was, fixing security issues and breaking in and raising awareness was my thing. Doing it the nice way, as always. The nice, gentle approach where I was in a group called Coreland.be, which actually does or teaches exploit development. And the guy actually taught me how to control buffer overflows and bypass security and fuss for vulnerabilities. So I started doing that, and my first real vulnerability was in the software called Magix. And I call out to support in Magix and say, hey, I want to speak to someone who is in security. You can post it here, they say in the forum. Are you sure? Yeah. Okay. I found a vulnerability in the software and I really would like to, make you address it and then patch it, and if you need help, let me know. Sure, where's the vulnerability? Here is a project file. So if you open this, it will open a calculator on your computer. And it's all done in memory, by the way, so nothing is modified. Yeah, I'll get back to you, he says. I hear nothing for a month. All right, again, hey, you need some help with this? Because I'm glad if I could help. I marked out where the actual crash happens after X amount of characters, standard buffer overflow, so you can actually see how much you need to increase or decrease or filter it out. Nothing, silence. Another month goes by and I go, dude, you can't ignore this. And he messaged me privately and says, hey, just so you know, this has been forwarded to legal. And I go, ooh, that's not good. So I prepare for the worst, and the worst comes. A couple of days later, I get an email from Dr. Hanuk Freidag, who used to represent Microsoft, Cisco, and SAP, and stuff in cases, and they want to sue me. For what? I found a vulnerability. No, you're using our software to spread viruses. Exactly. Here's someone laughing. Yeah, okay. How? Yeah, you're using our software. You hacked our software, and you're using it to spread viruses. We will see you in court. And I go, oh, you won't. So I took all my stuff, all the emails, all the correspondence, and I talked to a friend of mine who's a reporter for Dark Reading United States, and I said, look what they tried to do. And she goes, that's not okay. So she published an article about it. So if you actually Google Magix and my nickname, which will come, you will actually see that I was threatened by lawsuit. But they actually had to say that they're sorry on their Twitter. And Sony actually pulled an MP3 encoder from their music as well, for the music program. But they tried to rattle me to silence with this. And this was when my eyes got open to people are not as friendly as they used to be. I usually be able to just call them up and say, hi, I found a vulnerability. They say, great, where is it? Here, thank you very much, I'll buy you coffee. Whatever happened to that, I don't know. Now it's very much defense-based. My biggest vulnerability, the IKEA kitchen planner. So with this newfound tool of buffer overflows and controlling crash in a computer, I started looking around, and one of those were the old IKEA kitchen planner, which was an ActiveX DLL file. Now, I could talk about this because it's been many years since, and they have updated and patched. But what happened was you're supposed to call this ActiveX object, and you're supposed to say, draw a room that is A large, B wide. A large, B 10,000 A's, and it would cause the ActiveX to actually crash. And I could control that flow. So I could actually control the crash and then run code on the victim's computer. So I called up IKEA and I said, hi, found a vulnerability. They said, all right. And I told them about this, and they say, oh. I said, what? This, you can't issue an update? No, yeah, we can, but no. What do you mean no? So everybody who has visited the page must visit the page again in order to get the update. I could call this ActiveX object from any attacker control page. And I asked, how many kitchen planner things do you have per year or per day from all over the world? It's like, yeah, we're touching around 12 million or something like that. So that means that I could make my own page and send it to a bunch of users, and one of them would definitely be inside IKEA Kitchen Planner, and I can run code on their computer. Whoops. They had to call Microsoft and pull all their connections in order to issue what was known back then as a kill bit. And Microsoft usually doesn't know that, and that is where they actually disable an ActiveX module actively during a patch on someone's computer. And they don't usually do that, but IKEA managed. I guess they had to open the wallet pretty wide for this to happen. IKEA had one thing to the vendor that made this. You will have Lucas tested for any amount of money, and when he approves it, that's the new kitchen planner. That's our terms, period. There's no going back. And I said, yeah, but okay, I started my own company. So, and then I said, like, yeah, let's just, pro bono, I feel bad for you guys. So let's say 20,000 Danish, and I'll give me the new version. I will disassemble it. I will go through it. I'll make sure that you have dep enabled, that you can't just execute code, and make sure that every entry point is, you're not using string copy, basically. And they said, yeah, sure, thank you. So I did that, and that was my first big vulnerability for 12 million users. Then got hired into IOActive United States. That's why nobody knows about me in Sweden. Some people know about me in the United States, and some here in Denmark, but Sweden, I'm like, who are you? Which netted me some very interesting gigs in very interesting places. And I know this sounds like the big brag fest, but I'm coming to the end point here of everything. One thing I found, and you might have seen, is the MQTT protocol, which is an old protocol for messaging, having a broker in the middle, and appliance A and appliance B can actually speak to each other when they come back online through a broker. I found that this was open online, and people were using it to open prison doors or set the pressure in a pipeline. Now I could modify the pressure in the pipeline if I wanted to. I just have to speak faster and send the data faster than anyone else. Same thing with radiation sensors in nuclear power plants. I could say it's safe. If I say it's safe faster than the sensor actually says it's unsafe, we're good. So imagine going to a nuclear power plant and it's actually contaminated and they don't know. Or just opening all the prison doors in a prison. Because those things are the ones that I found scanning the entire internet for this. People connect their cars to this and send commands to their cars. And Microsoft had some version where they could issue commands to one of their internal servers through MQTT, just using the command prompt, But I did a talk about that, and that is definitely on my bucket list. 1,500 people in the audience. I had to take 3 shots of whiskey before I could start speaking up there. And if you see it on YouTube, I am very nervous. Meet our designer here. Nice, thank you. I also hacked other stuff during my career as a pen tester. One of those things is a gasoline pump. We managed to get access to that one using a wooden stick you have to when you stir your coffee. I know, right? So there's some ventilation holes underneath, so you can stick that up, and you can actually poke the little pin so you can open the door, and then you have access to everything. They fixed it, by the way. But we programmed it to say insert cat, insert kitten. We wanted to make something obscene. You can probably use your imagination, but we decided to be professional and not do this. We also have ice gassy people having their hard drives exposed to the internet, embassies and stuff like that. And I will show you how to see all that in a bit. So why am I rambling these stories? First of all, to get you excited that you actually can do something like this as well, because it's a very, very special job. It is, and if you are programmers, if you code, if that is your life, then you can just flip that little switch, and you have the ability to earn great success, a lot of money, and a lot of cool products, and work for a lot of cool clients. And what can you learn through what I'm saying? I will probably pause that until the Danish flag pops up. What use does it have? Well, if you know that everything can be hacked, then you might code just a little bit better, or not take everything for granted like third-party libraries. Because all we need to do is find one vulnerability in a third-party library that you use, and that's it. The truth is out there, and like I said, I'm emphasizing this. No matter what kind of paper you give the client saying thumbs up and everything is great, it's not great. There's always a way, and there's always a possibility, and there's always something going wrong. The more people that works in a company, the easier it is for me to get in. If there are only 3 people, I'm going to have a hard time, because they're knit close together working. If there are 1,000 people or 500 people, I just need one of them to click a link, and that's it. I live my life like I'm always compromised. And what's different about me is, like, I want my clients to think that they're compromised too. Why? Because then they're precautious in what they do. Zero trust network is a dream come true for me, where the computers don't trust each other. It's great. That's great for me. Who in here has heard about Shodan? Couple. Cool. So Shodan is the search engine of the internet. What I mean by that is that you can search for a specific port of a specific organization, a protocol, an IP address, and see what they have exposed online. It is very fun, because you can find everything from industrial components with VNC, remote desktop enabled, without password, by the way. Also, back in the day, you had the Mirai botnet taking out parts of the internet. Me and a couple of friends flagged for a good time, saying that if I can log into any appliance, for instance, a Dreambox, which you use for pirating TV, if I can log into that one with username Dreambox, password Dreambox, and say to it, ping www.somesite.com, and do it -F, so flooding, don't wait for a response. If I can do that and make a small Python script, take the results from Shodan, take my Python script, log into every machine I can, and do ping XYZ, stuff will start to go down. And that's just the Dreambox. Now we have a lot of IoT devices that are just default password. Nobody listened, so we let it go. A couple of years later, Mirai botnet hit. No, it wasn't me. I know what you're thinking, but that's not the way to get attention. But it got attention. Can still be done. What, 10 lines of Python code? We'll break the entire internet. And everyone can do it. So let me show you with my brilliant iPad what I'm talking about. So port 5900, which is VNC, I think it is, if I remember correctly. Filter on country, Denmark, because that's where I'm at. (1048). If I were to make a little bit more visual for you, so I click images. So Shodan is done by a friend of mine called John Madley. When we can, we try to hang out, but he's crazy. He's scanning the entire internet all the time from different sources. You can see this is remote desktop, but if we do port 5900, country, DK, and this is what is exposed online, and this is no secret. Whoops. And no, this does not require passwords. So I can take a VNC client and I can connect to that temperature and start fiddling around if I would like to. Thank you. But it's okay, let's have a firewall to actually protect us. That will help when someone goes and does this, man. I think the Danish word is for Satan. You can beep that out. For better man. So this is not going away. This has been there. This is like 13 results. Yeah, but I can 59001, 59002, depending on what port. Haha. There are other remote desktops as well. But if you want to scare someone, this is what you do, because this is how open it is. No matter what they say, and say we're secure, it's fine. You're gonna get fine. That we're not seeing as much attacks and things go down these days is unbelievable. People could just wreak havoc. And everybody can use Shodan. The reason he created it was basically to raise awareness on all these issues and open ports, and it's not just VNC. You can have anything like Windows shares open, iSCSI open, Windows shares we can just browse in. Hashtag I've seen that happen, hashtag embassy, hashtag Ecuador. Passports just laying around. Are you allowed to do this? I mean, there's no username and password. Nothing prompts you. Nothing tells you, stop. You're not supposed to be here. Gray zone. They will say, no, you're hacking, stop. No. So let's make a weapon, shall we? Oh, and I will, I talked a little bit about scanning. I scan my own as well, because Shodan is a little bit too slow for me sometimes. So I scan the internet myself. I have a computer online, and then when I find something I want to research, for instance, my last talk in Stockholm was about X-ray machines or X-ray servers being exposed. Yes, you can see people's X-rays. Yes, millions of them. Yes, you can modify them. And yes, you see social security number, etc., patient, cancer. And during COVID, this was really, really harsh, because you can sometimes see the doctor's notes. Patient died 3 days later, COVID. And you see the lung X-rays, and it was like 14-year-old kid and stuff. And now it starts to hit home. So that stuff like that I scan for and try to raise awareness by having conferences. This is a little bit different, because this goes a little bit above the things. Also, before we go, bug hunting. If that's something you want to do, there's some quick buck to be earned. You have the HackerOne, you have securebug.se, you have a lot of those online where you could actually just find web vulnerabilities. So if you're into that, finding ability to do SQL injection, cross-site script, you can earn a lot of cash just doing that. I have friends just sitting home doing this. And they find one bug, and then it's like, hey, 300,000. What? For that? Impressive. I don't have time for that, or patience. So I want you to become pen testers of your own code. I want you to revise, criticize, and think. When they say that it's secure, when they say that OpenSSL is probably secure because everybody else is using it, don't. Take a look at it yourself, spare time or whatever you feel, and get some interest in pen testing. It will make my life miserable if I come to a client and the application yields me an empty report. That would be frustrating for me. But then you will be the kid actually pissing off the older guy by being better. And I want you to be better. So take a look at your code and make it secure. So that's probably everything. Thank you, guys. And yes, that's my dog.